Okay.
So you haven't seen news for 2 weeks. And the first time
news that I see is that stupid thing.
First thing you see when you come back to the news is Trudeau's wide stance.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see the fake Twitter thing? Like somebody has like a fake Trudeau Twitter now, because like the whole like blue check mark thing is done or whatever. Somebody has like a Trudeau account, the blue check mark, and he's like talking about why he had to stand like a complete idiot with the suffering to further embarrass Canadians because his job to embarrass us is not done. No, so apparently this is such big important news that the Guardian has an article on it.
Oh man.
Justin Trudeau's hair has made we live in clown world, okay? So Justin Trudeau's hair has made international headlines as his fumbling handshakes. Yeah, I remember that one.
I didn't see that.
I think it. Who was the two leaders he did that with? But yeah, I just like constantly.
The amount of cheeks I kissed in Montreal, it's just too wrong. It's too wrong. I hate doing it. Like Emily already told her aunts, like he's not into that anymore. And like I keep doing it, and they all of them want to do it like 3 times, and none of them actually kissed the cheek.
Oh, okay.
What did you think?
I thought you went to Montreal and was just ass kissing everybody because you didn't want to offend anybody.
No,
when
it's
you
actually said literally
kissing people's cheeks. Yeah, yes. I know that. Like,
but they don't do it. You just touch cheeks.
Yeah,
it's the most ridiculous thing ever. Yeah, and they do make this, and they all make the sound of kissing the cheek, but they don't kiss the cheek.
I see. I don't know. I'm glad my family, like my whole extended family, was don't touch me. Like, yeah. Anyway, I'm not gonna go into too much detail about that, but yeah, we're just like, get away. But yeah, no. When you said kissing cheeks, I'm like picturing you being like just being super well, you are super friendly, but like not talking about anything, just being like, oh yeah, I totally agree with your awful opinion. Yep.
Me being super friendly is not something that Emily's family would say.
Yeah. That's funny. So yeah, Trudeau being an idiot as usual, fumbling his handshakes and propensity to appear shirtless when cameras are near. Yeah. We don't have a leader. We just anyway. Now Canada's Prime Minister, well-mannered. What? The Guardian. This is what they wrote. Well-mannered legs are getting their moment in the spotlight. If this is just praising him for, it could be because it's the Guardian. Why? You know what? No. Why did I click this? I'm not reading this. This is stupid.
Did you click on Twitter? Like, there's For You trending in the news?
No, I just went into like the regular articles and I saw Trudeau standing like a moron, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not giving him any. No. Let's not talk about him. Yeah, I'll go back to Twitter to see what that. Maybe it can refresh. So the For You trending. So I don't know how to use Twitter, but it says when I go to trending, it says Canada trends. Is there a way I can switch that? Because Canada news is
you can
generally boring.
The top top right corner.
Like the gear.
Yeah, the gear thing, and then explore locations, and then you can choose any country. We can actually see like what's trending in Cambodia.
No, wait.
Let's see what's trending in Cambodia.
Your phone will let you do that?
Yeah.
Mine won't let me.
Why? What does it do?
Okay. Trending. So when I go in.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. It's because it's. Never mind. Ignore me. I don't have my data on.
Okay.
Or I do, but it's not working when I try to. It's saying unable to. Unable to update settings.
That's strange.
Maybe if I close it, this is gonna be fun to edit. My brother really doesn't care about editing. When we were doing our podcast the other day, he's like, 1 sec, I have to go to the bathroom. He just leaves. Everything's recording still. I'm like, what? I'm like trying to talk and keep things going. I'm like, like, okay, Josh, have fun editing this. Okay, now it's letting me. So, what's a country that everybody cares about? I feel like people don't generally care about other countries other than their own, and that's normal. That's okay.
What did you choose?
I'm still scrolling. I don't want to do the
Where
usuals.
the hippos going again?
India.
Okay, let's cross India.
See if they get their hippos yet.
Yeah, if hippos are trending there or something, I don't know.
India.
Trending in India. Modi versus Supreme Court.
So it's not working. Mine.
There's not much.
This is unfortunate.
That I would actually know. It's all mostly like sports things that are trending. I think every country also uses Twitter differently. India versus garbage is on the Indian thing.
Like pollution?
I don't know. If I click on it, that's why I love Twitter. There's
okay, now India's trending. So the Supreme Court. What's this? Modi versus Supreme Court.
Yeah, Modi's the prime minister.
Oh, okay. Shows what I know. Foreign political stuff. You know, I wish I could find more on it, but yeah, remember the roads thing we were talking about? Like the people are like, oh, what if you don't pay your taxes? What about the roads? Kind of people. I came across an article the other day where there was a massive pothole that was being left. They just blocked it off. I think it was in Montana for months, and some guy just mysteriously came in the night and filled it with concrete. Right. So now the police are using resources to try and find this person so they can charge him because it was unauthorized.
So stupid, man. There's so many potholes in Montreal's roads. It's crazy. I don't know how cars are even operating there.
Well, even just Collingwood, man. Like, I guess you would know, but like when I was driving there, like through Wasaga to Collingwood, my whole gear, like the setup and everything's just shaking. I'm like, have to keep watching the trailer. I'm like,
roads suck everywhere. I mean, they're better than in a lot of countries. But the amount of taxes we were paying, like,
man, I'm blown away by the entitlement of people in the West. I keep seeing posts. I don't know why. This is what Twitter has to offer me, but I just keep seeing post after post of won't be too mean, even though it's like fat people, overweight people, saying it's discrimination that they won't build wider airplanes, wider things, wider. I'm like, what? I don't like. Why is there this thing? Like, where did it start changing in the West where your problems became, like, your self-inflicted problems half the time became everybody else's responsibility?
I think a fat person should take and open their own airline and call it Fat Airlines. Yeah. And just do those white seats, and that's capitalism. Yeah. Do your own thing.
No. Like, see, the other thing is people don't understand capitalism. Capitalism is just people, like... It's like literally like an opposite version of capitalism when they say, oh, this is capitalism, it's oppressing people. I'm like, capitalism is about making money. If there was,
and it's freedom to.
It's not about
create businesses that you want. That's what it means to me.
But like this argument where they say, companies won't hire black people or women because capitalism. I'm like, no, that's wrong. In fact, if what you were saying is true, like if people could get away with paying women less or black people less. And in the spirit, your idea, like the spirit of capitalism was real, they would only hire black people and women because they can pay them less. Like you got to make up your mind. It's either racism or profits.
But it's also not just profits. It's also what's the best too. Like if you have a mission of some sort, it's not necessarily that. See, I don't view that capitalism in just the money terms.
Well, no, people don't understand. How do we do it? Because they don't understand it. Like, I hate it when people immediately jump to conclusions and say they hate. Same thing with communism. You see it on the other side too, right? You see all these right-wing people like, oh, that's communism. That's communism. Like, how is that? In their minds, anything that is totalitarian is communism, right? So you have one side that doesn't understand communism and they absolutely hate communism. And you have this other side that doesn't understand capitalism. They absolutely hate capitalism.
But also, like, this system of hiring a Chinese, a black person, like, that's a new system. That's like, what is it? It's not communism. It's not capitalism. It's like...
It's free market, like, freedom stuff. Like
no, not that. But, like, actually hiring in your company so that you...
Oh,
have a black person.
Mean like...
you do have a Chinese person.
Not diversity, yeah, it's like, not diversity hires, but, like, the quotas.
Yeah.
That is racist.
So that's like a racist system.
Yeah. So I remember. So I worked at.
But they want to do it. They're doing it not to be racist, but they actually are.
I know. This is kind of like
to me,
more.
It seems like
This is more of our podcast thing than the
sorry,
news thing.
I'm getting too ahead.
But
we didn't do this like for 2 weeks. So
but I do want to make this point because, I worked at a lumber mill, and it was open for anybody to apply, men and women, and they had to keep trying to create incentives for women to be hired there because women didn't want to work there. Women would get hired and they would work with a hammer or something like, this sucks, and they would quit.
Yeah.
But the government was literally threatening this place with fines because we couldn't get the amount of women hired up. And see, like, well, you have office, if women don't want to carry a hammer, then hire them in the office positions, right? So what would happen is women would apply for the office, but they would not be the best fit. They would not be qualified for that stuff either. So what companies have to do to avoid being fined is hire a woman who's not qualified over a man who is, because they have to hit their quota.
What they could do now is hire a trans woman.
And so what would happen, this is insane. This is what would happen. So then we would have a woman coming into the office head part that was in charge of the work guys building stuff. She would come in not knowing anything about it and tell the guys building how to do their job, right? Which went over great. Somebody who doesn't know how to do the job telling somebody else how to do the job, that's always going to work well. So the morale went down, and then, but here's the outside world, like, people would see and hear that, and they wouldn't hear the full story, and they would just be like, well, those builders are sexist, this company's sexist. I'm like, they're only seeing on the outside that women weren't being hired, and then when they were, all the men were angry that there was a woman in the office. It's like, no.
And now it shouldn't be a problem, because John can come to a factory and just say, I'm Melissa today. And just work.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's like, it doesn't work like that either. Like, everything's... I don't think people that push this stuff even believe their own shit that they're saying. Because, like, so, the best example I saw recently was Lizzo. You know who Lizzo is? Very large artist, right? Yeah. And she goes around saying fat is beautiful and not unhealthy and stuff like that, right? And all these women will go, oh yeah, slay queen, beautiful, woo, yeah. She's so beautiful, she's so wonderful, right? Well, go to the same woman who says that Lizzo is beautiful and say, oh, well, you look like Lizzo. And watch the twitch in their eye. Because they're like, because they know. Like, what, dude, this asshole just called me fat, but I can't be angry. Watch the meltdown.
Yeah.
Anyway, how did we get on to all of this?
Yeah, I'm gonna shut up. You do the news.
Okay, yeah, so I got into this about the plus-size airplanes, but yeah. See, what is new? What is new? Everything that's new is stupid. I was saying this to Josh yesterday, like, I feel like every day I go to bed and things are nuts, and then I wake up, we jumped, like, 3 or 4 years in insanity every time I go to sleep. Like, it's like, you remember, it used to take build up for things to get crazier and crazier. Now it's just like one day, and like the standard of what's insane and what's normal just jumps years ahead. How do I'm such a boomer, I don't know how to use any of this stuff. What's the CBDC? Is that the digital currency stuff? Oh yeah, you haven't been paying attention to the news for like the last 2 weeks. There's been a lot of so there's been more bank collapsing and more like unstable stuff with the markets and stuff like that, and a lot more talk about digital currencies, like countries adopting a digital currency.
I don't have money, so I'm not worried.
That's funny. That's how I kind of view it too. It's like, okay, I'll have none of that too.
Just have more nothing.
I have none of the fake annoying like fiat currency, and I'll have none of your digital currency. I'll have my plants and my my hunting skills. That's what I have. So I went to training for India. How do I go back? Let's see okay. I gotta brace myself because I'm gonna go into the trending of the United States. This is gonna suck. Except my Twitter's broken. I don't know if it's just my phone.
Why is it slow or what?
I have to keep exiting out and going back in to get it to do stuff.
It's probably your phone because it's not an iPhone.
Yeah, like iPhones are any better. It's all garbage. Okay, so
US trending. Catter Day.
What?
Is number 1. Hashtag Catter Day.
See, I feel like this is just gonna make me feel worse. Like I'm already in like a everything's insane. We live in clown world kind of like black pill feeling right now, and I go to the United States, it's gonna be worse. United States.
Today's
Uruguay.
Armed Forces Day.
I'm about to check my phone through the window.
It's not working. You want to use this one? Works pretty well.
Okay, so you're trending United States. So what's Catter Day?
It's actually cat.
Oh, this is pretty wholesome.
It's very wholesome. I just scrolled through all of them.
I think this is what I needed.
Cat's playing.
Oh, I want a kitten now. Okay, so what's Casemiro? Oh, it's a soccer player. Okay. Armed Forces Day.
Click on that. Maybe there's some post on.
Happy Armed Forces Day. Today, MLB. Today we honor men and women who bravely serve our country. See, baseball, it's funny. I don't really care about playing baseball, watching baseball, but at least that's one of the still based sports. And that's a pun. Like, there's no friggin' woke stuff with that.
There's a batting cage on near Wasaga Beach I want to go to.
And they're supporting the armed forces. There's still some healthy, like,
good stuff.
Like, what's the word? Patriotism going on here. It's funny, like, hockey's like half and half. There's a lot of, like, because hockey's big in Canada. Canada's a very woke country. But there is some, like, it's like Canada's split half and half. So the NHL is kind of half and half. But baseball, good for you. Supporting your armed forces. I'm noticing that everybody's standing for the anthem. Like, I don't understand, like, you can criticize your country, right? Like, I have a lot of criticisms of Canada, United States, a lot of NATO countries. But I understand, like, patriotism and some level nationalism is, like, important to the health of a nation. When you see that dropping, you see it coming, like, flipping where it's just not even criticizing it to keep it on track and just tear it down. You know, that's, like, an indicator of an unhealthy, collapsing nation. Like, if you weren't even looking at all the banking stuff and everything else, you're just looking at, like, the health of, like what was that thing you showed me, that freedom and patriotism are considered well, not terrorists, like domestic
bad
terrorists,
words,
but, like,
like,
yeah, like bad words now. Like, that's like who cares? Like, depending on what you think about that, it's not. You can't argue that that's not a bad sign, like, for the health of a nation. I think a lot of people that think those are bad words are happy that these nations are in that place. How does Twitter know I have this problem with my t-shirts? Freaking targeted ads. Twitter knows that I have, like, because of my shoulders and my torso length.
Wait, that's my phone.
Oh. That's weird. Do you have this? Okay, do you have this problem? That's super weird.
Thing?
But so, because of your body, like, so it's hard to find a shirt that's wide enough but also long enough. So if I find a shirt that's...
I clearly don't have that.
Okay, then why is your phone telling you that? It's like a new...
It just listened to you.
Sorry.
This phone listened to you several times. I don't know.
It touched my hand. It's like, oh, it's in new hands. We got to start switch the ads. Like, watch, there's going to be a bunch of, like,
imagine if
hunting
that's
gear now.
Oh, it actually could work like that. There's probably a face tracking thing.
There is.
So,
who was that? I saw this video where it was proving that your phone takes photos of your face every 5 seconds. They used, what was it, an infrared camera? So they put, like, on, I think it was infrared or something like that. So it was, like, only picking up certain types of light that you wouldn't see with the naked eye. And every 5 seconds, it was iPhone too. It was iPhone.
I think all phones do that. They just don't know.
But it was the iPhone that they were testing it on. But yeah, so it's now reading my face, and it's like, oh, this guy clearly has problems with his t-shirts because of his wide shoulders and short torso. Share. Hippo.
Hippos are there?
Hippos are 20th in trending on Twitter.
In the US. Click on it. Did you click?
Oh, I really wish I didn't click hippos. But this just supports my fact that hippos are assholes.
Oh. Who are they eating?
Oh, they're ripping apart a gazelle. Like
Nice.
one's pulling the legs and the other one's pulling the
Hippos
head.
need to eat too, man. Come on.
They don't eat them. They're herbivores.
All right.
Hippos are assholes. Bro, they kill for fun. They don't eat the animals. They will brutalize and rip apart animals and then just leave the carcass.
Oh, well, did you see what monkeys do?
Yeah.
Chimpanzees?
I've seen
That's
monkeys. Yeah.
freaking
Oh,
worse, I think.
because I think it's TikTok. If there's something you don't want to see very often, don't spend more than 3 seconds watching something you scroll through. Because I stopped on a Nature's Metal video because it caught my eye for a second, and then the next thing I know, I keep getting more Nature's Metal, and I watched storks kill their babies because they were weak. They have long beak, so they literally just broke his head open and then left. I'm like, and there's still
to me that feels more gruesome than hippos eating zebras for some reason.
Well, this wasn't a zebra; it was like a little deer thing. But yeah. So hippos on TikTok, the trending is just hippos ripping things apart, animal after animal. Oh, a person, cool. Don't want to watch that. Hippos are the worst. I don't care what you say. Hippos are the worst. Like, not you personally. I mean, anybody who's like, no, hippos are the worst.
I do say that they're cute.
But yeah, spend like 3 seconds on hippos on Twitter. It's just
maybe I should do
ugh.
it later.
But yeah, so what was I saying before? Yeah, so the Nature's Metal thing, like, and there's still people out there that be like, this is kind of related. I was scrolling through again. A pack of dogs attacked this guy, these two kids. Nobody died, nobody was mutilated or anything, but these dogs attacked this kid. They were pulling off shoes and biting him and stuff, and then they ran away because somebody chased them off, right? The number one comment that had the most upvotes was, oh, well, they must have done something to antagonize the dogs. I'm like, people think that animals by their nature are good and only do bad things when influenced by humans. There's people out there that believe that. That's insane to me.
It's cartoons.
Yeah, it's because people don't go outside and experience nature themselves, and they just get it all from TV. Like, you don't even have to go hunt. Like, when I just go for a walk in the woods, you see chaos everywhere. If you're actually observing everything going around you, you'll see spiders eating stuff. You'll see, and like I watched from one time, I was watching these bug eggs hatch. Can't remember what bugs they were, but because where the mother laid them, when they would struggle to hatch, they would roll off and land in the water and drown immediately. Like, nature's chaos. It's not a Disney movie. You're not gonna go in there and start singing and have freaking birds land on you and deer come up and pet them.
Although there is
rare instances.
Yeah, where people really get along with a bear and they don't get killed.
Yeah.
There are instances they do get killed.
Those are rare instances with certain people.
Yeah, there's tigers that lions
achieve certain. Like, this is a whole other topic. Like, I'm gonna go from one extreme to the other extreme where I'm like, well, no, there's people that can reach certain spiritual levels where they can communicate with nature. I communicate with them on my dinner table. Like, this is good. This isn't news. It's just me hitting hippos again. Cause, damn. Okay, I gotta stop. What else? What else is trending on here? I gotta. They're not even cocaine hippos, man. The hippos are assholes without cocaine. This is insane.
Well, maybe they chill out.
On cocaine?
Yeah. I don't know. I never took cocaine, so I don't know what it does.
Isn't it like a crazy? I keep forgetting this is this is sad. I'm holding your phone. I keep forgetting that it's your phone. So where did I go to for trending? Not people. Well. Uh-oh. You might get a lot of hippo stuff now.
That's fine.
I don't know what to do with your phone. I'm like, I can't get back to trending.
It's the top left arrow.
Mine doesn't have a top left arrow.
What?
Yeah. Oh, who's Tim Robbins? It's like here.
Tim Robbins. Country singer? Huh?
So, I saw it today, speaking of news, I guess it's not like big news, but Mortal Kombat is coming out with Mortal Kombat 1. So they're going all the way back to the beginning. Right?
I want to get more into gaming. I want a simulator. I want a Twitch too.
Yeah, no, it's fun.
But I want a physical. We'll talk about it on the podcast.
Okay.
Keep getting ahead of us.
Let's just do the podcast because this news thing keeps turning into podcast stuff. So
I don't know. I think we just didn't do it. We didn't do podcast.
Well, we haven't even talked. Like, we barely talked for the last 2 weeks too. So, yeah. I'm done with the news anyway because I can't even use your phone. I keep trying to press back here and I keep pressing the microphone.
It's the top left corner.
Why is...
There's a little arrow there. Does it work?
Nope. I don't see an arrow.
Well, now press cancel. Top right.
Oh.
And then there's an arrow. Okay,
so I go to trending. Now, United States. Okay, up here. Let's just see if there's anything worth talking about in Canada. So, I already know the answer to this question. So, anyway, I've been watching war news and Russia and China are actually very, from what I've seen. I know there's gonna be people in here saying, "Oh, you're wrong," and blah blah. But from what I've seen, Russia and China actually have like they're viewed very favorably all across Africa, and there's a lot of Africans from all different African nations that are rallying to join Russia in their fight against NATO. I've been seeing a lot of that.
I just want people to get along, man.
I know.
So done.
I know. Sometimes I feel bad when I fill you in on war news because, like, I see your face and I feel like your energy when I'm telling you war. I'm like, maybe I should just keep this war news to myself.
No. I need it. I need to hear it. It's not. I'm not running away from it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like I remember when I told my grandfather about ISIS because my grandfather doesn't watch the news or anything, and like he just works. Like he just lives to work. And something came up about it, and he was asking me, and I was like, I filled him in, and I watched his face and his energy, and everything just changed, and I was like, I should have censored that.
Well, my energy also goes to look at what am I doing to make that change, you know? Mm-hmm. I'm not just running. I know there's problems. I know there's wars, but...
But what concerns me is, like, I know it's just the comments and people aren't exactly them. Like some people will say things that they somewhat believe, but not really. They'll hype it up for the comments and stuff. But the comments, whenever I come across a video of NATO building up coalition forces in Poland and Finland and all that stuff, and the comments I see when Russia's building up coalition forces on their end, the comments are what bother me the most because there's people that are like cheering it on. And like, it's like, yeah, we're on this team and... Like how you would view like the Stanley Cup or like the World Cup. And I'm like, no, these are millions of people's lives. Like these guys that are like, yeah, like because there was one video, it was a Russian soldier. He would go to these clusters of soldiers and be like, where are you guys from? And they'd be like, I forget the names, like Angola or something. Like, where do you know any countries in Africa that Russia has good relations with? I can't think of any right now. I think Uganda's one. They would go like, oh, we're from. I'm gonna say the wrong countries just because it's the only countries I can think of right now. So they'd be like, oh, we're from Uganda, and then, we're from Palestine, and they're all like all happy and clapping and cheering, and then the comments are the same thing. They're like, there's a I don't know, I don't speak Russian, but it was like a famous like kind of like how the English have like long live the Queen kind of thing. It's like something like that for Russia, and then when I go into the NATO thing, it's the exact same thing, and there's some like, oh, how do I join? And
it's literally just like teams.
How do I get there? Teams. How do I join? I'll be there next month. And I'm like, this is insane. Like, none of this would have to happen if we had the opposite where they're basically like, no, I'm not doing that. Why? Like, no. And like how I view it is how I think a lot of healthy people might view it is like, me, a poor blue collar Canadian, why am I gonna go to some other country and go fight a poor blue collar worker, most likely from Russia or China or Africa? Like it's hard enough just trying to friggin' deal with stuff here, and like why? Like in the same thing, they're probably going through this very similar stuff, just different circumstances. But we have the same goals. We want to have a healthy, happy family. We want to raise our kids. We want to hand stuff down to the next generation.
Yep.
Oh. And it's funny, like it's all these people like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but the perception from people on the eastern side, like the Russia-China side, like they seem to have like this perception like their government actually cares about them. They have like a national pride thing. which is healthy and good, I think, but not when it's like, oh, but we got to destroy evil NATO. But the one I get from NATO is like they don't even view the other side as human. Like these are the evil oppressors that are gonna take over our country and enslave us, and like that's not what Russia wants. Like, they're not gonna come to the United States and enslave everybody. And they're not even doing that with Ukraine.
That's the whole thing. Is that if there's still people out there who are like, yeah, let's join this, like, then it's not that bad. If it was very, very, very bad of a situation, like, people are dying, yes, but it's not that bad because, like, people would not be screaming about joining it that easily.
Well, I think there's propaganda and delusions about war.
Well, yeah, there's
because of media, video games, stuff like that, right? Like, it's not some glorious thing. Especially, like, they're not even... It sounds weird because... I don't know, like, it might make me sound like a traitor or something, but, like... I don't know even how to say this, but, like, I feel like the Russians have more of a reason to do what they've been doing because of what NATO has been doing for the last 30 years. And people in NATO countries don't even see that because they're constantly hit with propaganda from their side. I see propaganda on both sides. Like, both sides are full of crap, but the agreement was that NATO wasn't going to go any further to the east, and that's all they've done.
And for people who say, like, Ukraine would have benefited from that economic thing from NATO, there's other ways to improve a country's economics than bring in NATO in there.
And they also, so people actually believe that all these countries that join NATO from the east that used to be Soviet Union or
they get better.
They're not only that, but they believe that everybody just wanted to join. They don't know about, like, there was CIA and, like, tampering, like, manipulation and revolutions, like color revolutions, constantly. Like, Ukraine had a leader that was democratically voted in that was pro-Russia, and the West deposed him, and they switched him out with Zelensky, who's just an actor. And then what do you know? When they switch him out, all of a sudden all these corrupt deals start happening with all these Western politicians all across all these NATO nations. Like, it's not as simple as everyone's trying to make it. It's not black and white. It's like, oh no, the evil Russia. They're like, I keep hearing people say that Russia wants to recreate the Soviet Union and they're gonna take all these countries by force and blah blah blah. I'm like,
it's the most stupidest take ever.
Yeah.
Like, there's even if they want to recreate some aspects of it, it's not going back to what people don't realize what communism was, and it's never gonna go back to that. If anything, it's gonna be something completely different.
Well, yeah, it's funny because people who hate communism in the West don't even fully understand it, and people who support it don't even understand it. I saved this amazing thing. Where is it? It was a Soviet Union poster. And it reminded me that even people that in the West that support communism don't even know, like, the old Soviet Union style communism. They don't even get it. Where is it?
But people who even were living in communism at the same time period might have different opinions, just like we right now have different opinions of Canadian law.
Yeah, so I found it. It was a 1920s Soviet poster. It says, "He who does not work, neither shall he eat." That's from the Bible, right?
That's a very famous Russian saying. Like, I say that to my girls all the time.
Yeah, so it's not verbatim, but that's said in different words in the Bible, right?
Yeah.
And it shows people like communists from that era saying that sounds reasonable, fascists from that era, that sounds reasonable, Americans from that era, that sounds reasonable, and then it's like leftists or communists today, and they're like, is this guy losing his mind? It's like, ah! Yeah, no, it's a very common sense thing.
Should we switch angles?
Yeah.